for client presentation, I would just talk about virtual reality.
Right.
So literally providing a file which they can immerse into it and see a new project. AR, unfortunately, becomes relevant in very specific cases. That could be going to the site, or even like providing a presentation in front of an audience, or it's just more for enhancing something like a concept. And meanwhile, virtual reality really would do the job of showing you things.
So in these cases, the client is wearing a headset, right? And they're viewing a 3D model from like a first-person perspective. I think one of the immediate concerns that a lot of architects and designers would have is that process opening up a can of worms? Because, and I think actually you wrote about this, but like one of the call it a strategy that I think designers use is, we're very specific about what we show because we want to focus the conversation. Obviously, we need the client to understand what we're trying to convey. And part of that, too, is we don't want necessarily the client to go off and start thinking about stuff that we don't want them to be thinking about to, kind of interrupt or redirect the conversation to some weird path. So the question is, like, with VR, does that become an issue?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a very good point, actually, because I kind of faced this problem different times. The fact is that clients, when they are in an environment which they really don't know, they tend to take the lead and just like going around and just like having a very, I don't know, it's really easy to judge right away immediately without to have like information about the project before. Like if you think about like a set of drawings for a competition, for example, usually the designer guides you through the project in a very specific way. Like you have an intro, you have like the context, you show some plans, some diagrams, then you go into some views, and like they spend months to review all of these documents and put them in an order which says this is gonna work, this is gonna get the attention, and this is gonna like win the competition, for example. But for VR, it becomes challenging to work in the same methodology because you just put a headset on and you can look everywhere. And
don't look over there.
You give a lot of freedom out of nowhere, and the client gets super excited, and maybe he's not comfortable. He never did it before, so he starts to push a lot of buttons, and it really is that way. Like, and he really ends up doing something that he's gonna associate with something negative. Like, for example, I ended up being outside of a balcony and I just saw the sky and nothing else, or the physics of the experience, for example, has some flaw and you didn't realize it in time, and you understand that the client is flying around the building, and there are millions of possibilities to let things going wrong. So what I always did in these cases was like creating presentation which really would let the client stay in very specific points of view, and not letting her going around like with the input that usually VR templates provide. That's the way to kind of start to work with it, definitely.